cheating on me.
I'm not. Just my sister.
Okay, baby, I'm sorry. So you're kissing with your sister? Okay, bye. Shit, I forgot to have them. Right. I'm rude. Wait, I was just joking. You think I'm dumb? I'm not everyone you're happy right now. I'm not scared of you, did you know? Hi, Lydia, are you okay? No, because Estella was going to age brother in the chat. Oh, cool. What is his name? James. Nice. You know, yeah, can we talk in private? No, please. Sure. Oh no, Estella the coolest was removed from the chat. So, Estella is a traitor. What? Let me explain. So when we left, she said that she was gonna help us. We have her. Hey, Estella the coolest was added to the chat. Hello. What happened to our avatar? Yeah, sweet dreams. there's no private sense of attraction within life.
This is an ABC Come on, we finally end the parodies with the Mom Angel.
From the number of his young logos. Okay? I hope my view of your home is here. I love Yesterday, 20 I'm somewhere on I'm finding out that hard and talking to them again each other.
I love you too, Linda.
And I'm so glad I'm asking for helping to become all the truth.
Now I was never one, Wanda.
There is some glad that you've overcome your fear of this very always and shown me what you do. As expected, you are immediately at the uncle's sound.
You're Junior. I'm Julian. It was all thanks to you. And the political ones. I couldn't have defeated those scary logos without you on my side. It's our pleasure.
Sam. Well, that the story of the areas, the dance area, the list of the areas, the back to the to continue our reconstruction so that we can get it back to a stable way.
So, this is the end of ABC parodies, right? Already? That's so quick.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Did you know that PGS parodies and NBC parodies ended as well?
Those two as well? Oh, come on!
Sleeper zombies.
Goose is right. When you do the end of ABC parodies for Dave, or we can take a over for him. Wow, that's very nice.
Literally
flags
of time.
We can come back to the studio to prepare around showing the confrontation with the Prince of Darkness.
Step by
We can always come to the studio
Once again, thank you for helping us defeat the scary mobile lines and ending us on the way in. We totally appreciate it. You're welcome. We'll see you.
Until we meet again, please have some company. Have a nice day to all of you.
Same to all of you, Heaven Local Alliance.
By the way, how's the Waffle Robot doing? The Waffle Robot is in good condition after an extensive troubleshooting.
We installed the IntelliStar antivirus so that it won't be vulnerable to any malware.
That's good to know. The rules up, dude. If you go to EOT, you lose, bro. You just need to have a memory double.
Sorry we're late. Did we miss anything? We just received the speed vehicle notice. The house is moving through, and the speed vehicle runs has gone for here. No! You really have to look at what's in the city next year.
And we just noticed that Sam over here is one of the scary omens. For this, we have some working supply in your store with tacos. And for the local with the supply and what that also taco now.
Yes, we should need to remove weapon control safety regulations.
We slow down for tonight's road election news. And I just seen the news earlier, and we are 1000% trust.
Oh wow, that's exactly what I wanted. Thanks, guys.
No problem, Sam. I'm hungry for tacos myself.
And they're the genuine kind.
Don't just put tacos. This is new.
No, that's a lot of tacos.
I agree, Mike. Where did you run in tacos? Sloppy.
I thought you'd never ask. 6 hot tacos. Serving tasty tacos on time.
zombies and football zombies. Zombies and buckethead zombies and so we're about 10
This has been a Quadparison entertainment in production.
Fast forward to flag 16, the last bit of optimization this time is with our instant of choice. Instead of Cherry Bomb, Marigold is the obviously better instant plant, as it slashes zombies' health down by 75%, making it extra effective against Gargantuars. Playing optimally, we easily end off flag 16 with 31,000 sun, by far the most sun that we've ever attained in Endless. Unfortunately, the next two flags are Bucketheads, which were soon to destroy a load of our defense. Very quickly, Bucketheads take out several twin sunflowers as well as our tall nuts. Thankfully though, we didn't lose really that many sunflowers, as we still end up maintaining a sun profit at the end of these two flags here. The next few levels were all pretty easy and letting us turn a profit, with flag 19 to 20 getting us up to 34,000 sun at the end. We then ended up with 38,000 sun thanks to stalling with blowbirds in flag 21 to 22. We lost a few sunflowers to zombonis in flag 23 to 24, but we still turned a profit with 39,000 sun in reserves. I didn't replant any sunflowers from flag 25 to 26 because there were more zombonis again, but we still managed to not lose sun here. Flag 27 to 28, however, would be the turning point as Bucketheads make their return, and this time we lost even our Umbrella Leaf alongside half our sun production. We even have gravestones in the water blocking us. Things were not looking particularly great here as we needed much repairing after the target zombies put our defense in shambles. Unfortunately, the next two flags were even worse as more Bucketheads came again. Fortunately, I managed to actually maintain the remaining sun producers while defending them off. I seized the opportunity at flag 31 to 32, where without Buckethead zombies, I can bring Gravebuster to free up some much needed space for our defense. I managed to do just that, but depleted quite a lot of reserve sun in a lot of instants in these two flags, bringing us back down to 40,000 sun only. Thankfully, no Bucketheads showed up in flag 33 to 34, so I was able to bring some flowers to try and turn a profit. However, I was unable to do so as I still need to plant a lot of pumpkins to fully protect up our sun production again. So by the end of the two flags, I only had 29,000 sun to work with. Flag 35 to 36 looks pretty easy, but then came the incident again. I was hugely underestimating the power of Zombonis despite my constant fear for them, and disaster struck again. I instantly got my Doomstream frozen again just before it was about to detonate, and this was absolutely devastating as Zombonis basically just crushed about half our entire defense. Without even tallness to stop newspaper zombies, we experienced our first melon port loss off the run, and any attempt in trying to recover from this seems completely out of the conversation. Nevertheless, I persisted onwards to try and beat this without much of our defense on the bottom, and somehow, I was able to hold off the zombies temporarily here at the bottom. Oh, and I cannot thank the PvZ gods enough for somehow how easy the next two flags were going to be. With the only major threat being the Digger zombies, I was able to bring all Melonpult, Sunflower, and Twin Sunflower at once to try and recover from my losses. I am also astonished by how this was even possible. We managed to recover from a completely dead lost position and still have 21,000 sun to work with for the remaining 12 flags to beat. With our sun production back in full force, I was able to beat 39 to 40 with just simple Imitator Ice Shoot Cycle. And again with flag 31 to 42, even turning a profit of 2,000 sun throughout the level this late into Endless thanks to Catapult Zombies showing up again. 43 to 44 had Buckethead Zombies. Thankfully, we did not take too much damage, but it's still rather troublesome as an amphibious pole vaulter actually took out our cattail. Regardless of our losses, we still needed to keep bringing Imitator Ice Stream to stall as long as possible to survive as many flags as possible. With more Bucketheads on 45 to 46, the end is near. The Digger zombies have started breaking through the last of our tallness by now, and combined with the power of bungee ambushes, they took out the majority of our last producers. Thankfully, we lived onto our highest record yet, and now we're onto flag 47 to 48. With even more Bucketheads coming our way, it's just a matter of time until every last producer is dead. And I would be right to think that, because by the end of these two flags, Gargantuars from bungee ambushes have basically destroyed the entirety of our front lines here. However, this was the final stretch. With only 2 more flags to go, this was looking like it was going to be possible to survive 50 flags after all of the torment we have been through. To end it off with a blast, the last 2 flags of the challenge combines Giga Gargantuars, Zombonis, Diggers, Newspapers, and Bucketheads all together, creating the most destructive attack yet. With Giga Gargantuars now spawning on the first wave of the level, this was the true test of the hardest spawn rate in Brutal Mode EX+. However, the funny part is that the usually extremely threatening Zombonis no longer seem to be that dangerous when there are basically no plants left for it to freeze or crush. We managed to fend off the newspaper zombies early on with just pumpkins, but only barely. Only 2 more pumpkins now separate newspaper zombies from our artillery. I desperately keep trying to use blowers to push back any infiltration of bungee ambush zombies and try to keep our melon bolts alive just barely. And we've done it. there's the 50th flag. With 2 more items ready in our seed selection, this was it. The end of the 50 flag challenge in Brutal Mode EX+. Our final defense was in complete shambles, but it still managed to make it past all 50 flags of Endless, and it's insane how we went from dying on the 5th flag every run to reaching here. So the answer is yes. You can indeed survive up to the maximum spawn rate of Brutal Mode EX+'s Survival Endless, but still, you can't survive indefinitely like a normal PvZ. Next time, we'll be getting through all the secret minigames of Brutal Mode EX+ first to explore plant evolutions in Brutal Mode EX+, which will enable us to survive indefinitely in Survival Endless. Or will they help us at all? Remember to subscribe to stay tuned, and thank you to our channel members for supporting the RCCS channel. For now, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.